Hello, everyone. My name is Caitlin Hassan. I am currently in the ultrasound program here at LCC, and today I will do a presentation talking about contrast agents in ultrasound. So, what are contrast agents? They are also known as microbubbles and are gas bubbles encapsulated in a shell. Contrast agents can either be administered by injecting them into the circulatory system or ingested by the patient. Contrast agents are used in ultrasound because they create very strong reflections, which is helpful because contrast agents are very echogenic compared to the surrounding tissues of the body. They are used to look at blood chambers, vessels, and other organs. Contrast agents help sonographers with three major tasks. First, they help identify lesions when the lesion's echogenicity is similar to the surrounding tissue. Second, they characterize lesions through documentation of atrial and venous phases. Third, they have added Doppler detection in weak flow areas. There are 5 requirements contrast agents must meet to be able to be used. First, they must be safe. Second, they must be metabolically inert. Third, they must be long-lasting. Fourth, they must be strong reflectors. And fifth, they must be small enough to pass through capillaries. Harmonics are used in ultrasound because they help improve lateral resolution and reduce artifacts in the near field. They help create a better quality image, and they aid in the visualization of borders. Contrast harmonics are created when sound interacts with the contrast agents. They create very strong harmonics. Contrast harmonics are created during reflection. The sound interacts with the gas bubble, and since contrast agents react in a nonlinear behavior, this is what creates the harmonics. How are contrast harmonics created? Sound waves are a series of compressions, which are high pressure, and rarefactions, which are low pressure. When a microbubble is within a sound beam, it either expands or shrinks depending on the type of pressure. If the microbubble interacts with high pressure or compressions of a sound wave, it will shrink. If a microbubble interacts with low pressure or rarefactions from a sound wave, it will expand. This shrinking and expanding is called resonance. Bubbles expand to a greater extent than they shrink. They can only get so small due to pressure balance. They do not have a limit on how much they can expand, though. This is why they have nonlinear behavior, which creates the harmonics. Peak rarefaction pressure is what expands the bubbles and is the most valuable number regarding contrast harmonics. Mechanical index is a number that allows for the estimated amount of contrast harmonics produced. Mechanical index relies on 2 factors. First, frequency. Second, peak pressure of the rarefaction. Harmonic production and mechanical index increase with lower frequencies and stronger sound waves, and decrease with higher frequencies and weaker sound waves. Low mechanical index sound beams do not create harmonics because the microbubbles act in a linear fashion. The microbubbles expand and contract evenly. Higher mechanical index creates some harmonics because of the nonlinear behavior and is most ideal for ultrasound. Highest mechanical index create the strongest harmonics but cause the bubbles to expand greatly, which leads to them bursting, which is extreme nonlinear behavior. Characteristics of contrast. There are 2 important characteristics of contrast. First, what the outer shell is made of is important because the shell is responsible for trapping the gas. This determines the effective life of the microbubble. If there is no shell, the microbubble will shrink and quickly dissolve. The shells also need to be flexible so that they do not burst, which would produce no harmonics. Secondly, what the gas is filled in the microbubble is important. The gas inside of the shell determines the stability of the microbubble. Small gas molecules may leak out of the shell, whereas large gas molecules may never dissolve. Important things to remember from this presentation are contrast harmonics are created during reflection. Contrast harmonics are created by nonlinear behavior. Contrast harmonics are directly related to the mechanical index. The higher the mechanical index, the greater the harmonics will be. The lower the mechanical index, the lower the harmonics will be, or no harmonics will be created. Contrast agents are dependent on their shell and the type of gas within the shell. Thank you for listening to my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. And here are my references.